Dear and valuable viewers, big plague epidemic for you in this video. Good cruises to tell. Big and prime. From many wars in history, it is one disaster that caused more loss of life. The effect was so great that caused nearly 100 million people to die in a few years. It has been and I occurred in Europe between 1347,351 on Tuesday had come. At that time, there was an intense population growth in Europe. This eventually entered the period of famine. The famine period of the Great Plague epidemic, struggling with this situation in Europe as it comes from behind. It made you very difficult. The outbreak is poor and in need of care, first seen in people. With the spread of the outbreak, also the cut in the top layer, it has been inevitable to be affected. Defeat every flag we know from history. The fallen people are the fourth king of the Aragon, Pedro, in the green areas. England, king of the third Edward's daughter, Jor. Spread of big plague disease. Plague started in China and Central Asia. It has spread all over the world from here. The car Asian traders bought from China and packages to reach Europe. It was transmitted by its sail in Europe. Fleas and mice living on board, they are said to be effective in spreading this disease. Rows of countryside. The head of the Tatars besieged the Canberg funeral port and attached to it, throwing his men into the city with catapults and Italians. The disease it delivered. The cities that first encounter Italy's intermediate plague are Sonova, Messina has been Venice. Then the plague epidemic came from Paris in 1348. In 1349, it took effect on London, Scotland and the Scandinavian, then reached the dormitory of the Tatars, which had a beginning. 90,000, 45,000 in Florence, 105,000 in France and 1 million people in England and Venetian. 5% of the population died in the plague epidemic. Syria, Lebanon, Corn, Hatay, Mecca. Many things in total. One part of the world he died of this disease. Symptoms of your father. Occurs in 1 week. The symptoms of this disease are as follows: tremors, fever, vomiting, head and back pain, weakness, shortness of breath, pubic pain, bleeding, eggs in the body, swelling that comes out, bruises on the body, internal bleeding. Plague. This disease, known as the plague among the public, is the feature of one person caught. It's actually one infection disease and it ends with the presence of antibiotic. It has melted the effects of the Great Plague epidemic, especially in the time of plague. The protective mask outbreak used by doctors began to spread one after a while. He lived psychologically close in humans. But insecurities and obedient you who are the management of people after the epidemic increased. Social activities are finished, causing them to move away from each other. He gave. It caused an increase in product and worker wages. This witnessing one lot of economic and psychological in the world with the epidemic. It has been the reason why the disease progresses most in the store is both famine, both the fact that it was out of its time and the people in the West at that time were very as that it is not washed too much. The formation of the streets full of human scum and garbage facilitated the spread of the disease in the region. Europe's population half destroyed. Hitmore and himself 155,200 years later. Enka the collector knew. Locked air is thought to emit plague epidemic, and it has been the thought that this dirty air will pass by catching the herd and installing a beautiful one. If people were not slow at that time, the disease believed that he could not find them and therefore the bathroom for a long time he did not. During this time, on the grounds that he brought one lot of people and dealers accused and ended the lives of these people. Of these most they made it alive with the claim that they added poison to the brutal bee wells. Many sinless women and men. Witchcraft accusation. Live he was burned and killed by drowning in water. Beggars in the area, gypsies and more people have been both alive and from their dormitories. At that time not only people on the grounds that it helps women, but in the region cats were collected and killed. Killing people as an epidemic of cats did not allow him to write the emitting mice. For this reason, the number of coins increased and the outbreak accelerated further. The outbreak has decreased from time to time, but many different types have manifested themselves again. Even during the Ottoman period, many Turkish cities. He encountered this with Bachur. Hungary from harm. Countries with a low population, such as Russia, have been affected too much. That's the information we got. If you like the video, like it. Remember, thank you for watching.